the shelter. Dual purpose, yeah. Yeah, so in sports, every day of the week, time of crisis, what happens here? All the sporting goods stacked away, all the halls, the sheltering halls are divided by smaller sheltering rooms.
And not just sports halls, children's play areas, possibly the safest in the world, cafes, even a swimming pool.
Just a sheltering hall, so with a pool.
Yeah, with an Olympic step pool.
Olympic size, okay. Wow. Wow.
But everything here with one purpose in mind. Glass doors, gas barriers, decontamination areas.
And now, it's a car park. It's a car park. Again. That's quite a bizarre feeling.
Yeah.
1 minute you're preparing for a war, the next minute you're playing hockey, and now it's a car park.
Yeah. Here you can see the different layers.
And before we leave, Ross shows us another shelter just begun.
Do a hole in it, put explosives in, blow it, and move forward.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye. Cheers. Bye. Here come the
I'm about to
traffic.
cry for
This looks
this
like the
thing.
way out. Absolutely
I'm about to cry
fascinating.
for this thing.
Intriguing.
My eyes are tearing up.
Next up, we're heading to the Asian
I'm about to
continent, where the
cry
South
for
Korean
you.
boy band
I'm about to
BTS
cry for
is in the
you,
news.
nigga.
They want to listen to
Oh, I
BTS.
heard about this.
They want to listen to BTS.
It's because the band and all its members are stopping the army. The nation
So
requires
Jay's-
all
Jay's
able-bodied
right. They have
guys
to-
serve at least 18 months in the
No
army.
matter who you are in South Korea, right? If you're male between the ages of 18 and 30, you have to join the army for, I think they say 18 months. So like a year and a half. And so like, even though they're probably the most famous pop stars in the world currently, right? Maybe not as much in America, but like around, like nationally, they're, I mean, ridiculously popular. Not that I listen to BTS, but they have to join the army, so they got to stop singing. And they say like how much money they're probably going to lose while they're in the army for those like 2 years.
Armed forces by age 28. Due to ongoing
In America,
threats
you don't
from
have to.
Korea. Fans are upset.
Join the
Not
army,
only they are
right?
hot.
The army's volunteer. What's up, Justin?
Why can't they like just go to a different country?
So they can, right? Like they could. That's a very good question. So they could like try to become American citizens or citizens of another country and try like kind of try to avoid this, but they're all from South Korea. They grew up in South Korea. That's where they live, and so they're doing this as kind of like a sign of, hey, like we're not more important than anyone else that had to sign up for the army. Like we are South Koreans. We're not going to try to get out of this. Like we're gonna go do this. Which is, I mean, like that's commendable. That's respectable. You know, like because they have millions upon millions of dollars and could get out of this, and they're not.
BTS for several years. The plan is for the band to get together again around 2025 after all 7 members complete their service. The decision could also come with an economic cost. Analysts project that between 2014 and 2023, the group would have contributed $29.4 billion to the South Korean economy.
This announcement today has ended months of speculation. Will they, won't they? We now know that BTS will be going into their mandatory military service. We heard from the label
It's not my
BTS
kind of
Music
music,
saying
but I respect you for
they
like
respect the need
doing this and
for-
making a lot of money.
Now, this has
How does
been
she just
under
feel her
speculation, as I
water?
say, for months. This has been debated
Oh, it's weird.
within the South Korean
That's just
parliament
break.
itself as
Oh,
to
you
whether or
spoke
not
over.
BTS should be exempted or whether they should be carrying out their mandatory service. It is a conscription that all able-bodied men between the ages of 18 and 28 do need to go and serve in the military. Now, it was increased by 2 years just a couple of years ago to the age of 30, just for those who excel in popular sports and arts. So it did defer somewhat the decision for the
You got a tissue box?
Yeah, this is
But the argument for their exemption is that there are some sportsmen who have won Olympic medals, Asian Games medals, who have been exempted. from military service. There's also some classical musicians, award-winning global musicians and singers that have been interested as well. But it was decided and it was debated at length that BTS should go ahead. Big Hit Music saying, quote, both the company and the members of BTS are looking forward to reconvening as a group around 2025. So certainly the BTS army, as their very passionate fans are known, will be looking forward to that date. Paula Hancock's CNN Soul.
10-second trivia. Which of these animals is nicknamed the canary of the sea?
The International Space Station.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to
This
go out
model
before
is
the rest of the
impressive.
round,
Take a look at the
or you want to pour yours
Balloon
out and get.
It is 30% more transport capacity than its older brother. But
This
nobody
nigga's
flies
video
the
all
Balloon
over the
for
balloon.
now. Kristen Fisher, CNN.
Well, that's all I have time for now. I had a killer time with y'all. But before I go, our favorite part of the day. A special shout out to Freeling Heisen Middle School in
Wasn't that
Morristown,
big?
New Jersey. I hope you and everyone watching around the world have a wonderful
Did you say?
I'm Amway.
One piece?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, I did throw the cat. I'm sorry. I didn't think you would want the cat. Face down.
Dude, if I don't do that, I'm gonna puke.
Alright, so,
Go to the
let's keep
bathroom.
going. Let's get our notes out. Alright, let's try to get through all this. Step one, yeah, it doesn't say flip video, Kaylin. Yeah, there's no question to it. You guys will have more than enough time to do your steps. You don't have to go over them. Although I know you guys like to get them done. Which is good. But let's get our notes out. Today's date is 10/19. Alright, still Renaissance. Like I said in the beginning, the Renaissance is pretty long. Agreeing with what?
It's nasty, right?
They're all green.
It's hot, but it tastes so bad.
No.
Yeah, that's the
Red,
problem.
orange, and
If it was good and hot, maybe.
Alright, so we got Leonardo, right?
That shit is so.
Yeah, I saw one financially.
Oh, I think I got that shit in my eye. Oh no. Oh, my eye burning.
For real.
I got it in my eye.
No, for real.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, that's worse. Like, for real.
It's only burning a little bit. It's not burning that much.
Alright, so we talked about Leonardo yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, we got up for this. Alright, so Donatello. This is Donatello. This is what he looked like. Right? So he was a sculptor, and he sculpted a very famous sculpture of David. So anybody ever hear the story of David versus Goliath?
Yeah.
Right? So it's actually a religious story, right? But there's multiple sculptors that sculpted David from David versus Goliath. So David versus Goliath, the story. Anybody want to tell the story? Anybody know the story? Okay, so David was like a young kid who lived in a town, right? And Goliath was this giant monster. Jose, you want to tell?
Yeah, I know the story.
Go ahead, you want to tell?
David, he was a young shepherd that his brothers were always picking on him like his siblings. And he went, and the people, I forgot, the Philistines, they had got Goliath, they want to take their land. Goliath want to fight with someone,
Now, who was Goliath? Like, what did Goliath look like?
a big giant.
Yeah, he was a big giant, which is important. Okay, you done, sorry?
Goliath was a big giant, and David shoot a rock at his head and dead.
Yep. So it was basically like a story about a young person who wasn't really anything special, versus this giant who is going to take over his town. And he gets like a slingshot and he shoots it at the monster,